what the hell, I'll just wing it. Then I can test out the editing function later. Well, hello there. Welcome to Heart of Port. I'm your skipper, Captain Dell. And as you can see, we're cruising. This is what, you know, if you ever heard somebody talk about the cruising life in a sailboat, well, this is what they're talking about. I happen to be in the middle of the Gulf Innercoastal, Intracoastal, I should say, waterway, which is the Intracoastal that goes from Brownsville, Texas, actually goes from Mexico, all the way up and around down to Key West. So, you and I took this trip. You can see some of the scenery that I get to see. And trust me, if you've never been on the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway, it looks just like this. It's nothing new. So, but the nice thing about cruising this way, it's kind of like an RV in that, you see, you get a little hole like right back in there or up around this bend or whatnot. You could go ahead and, well, if your depth meter says you can, and you know what you have for a draft, you can tuck it back in there. That's what I did last night, tuck back into the anchorage, and, you know, I was out of the way of the barges and stuff. It's not the case the first night. The first night about drove me crazy, because even though I felt I was far enough off and behind the curve and all the rest of this stuff, and I had my anchor light on, I still got lit up multiple times by barges telling me, well, they weren't telling me anything because I didn't have a radio on. So, but anyways, probably should have, but you gotta charge the battery sometime. But anyway, I was never really in any kind of danger or put anybody else in danger. And the spot where I was at, it just was kind of common sense. It was like way off to the side, far off as I could go. It was around a bend, so for anybody to hit me, they would have had to have plowed right through the point with dirt flying everywhere in order to get to me. So I thought it was a good spot. But anyway, it turned out not to be. So anyway, here we are. This is day 3 after finally getting underway from Galveston, Texas. We just got done going through the locks there at, how did he pronounce it? Colcacho. I think that's how. I murdered the word. He corrected me, but I probably still murdered it again. But anyway, Lake Charles. So I passed through the lock there. Now I'm on my way down to Gibbstown and Martin 193, which is 193 on the Intercoastal here. It's the mile marker there where I can stop and get fuel and all that kind of stuff, which I'm going to need to do here before too long. But fuel consumption on this thing is supposed to be between 0.5 and 0.67 gallons per hour. Using that math, I should be able to go anywhere between 27 and 30, roughly, hours before I have to fill up again. Well, I'm testing it. I've got fuel on board. There's 3 5-gallon fuel cans up there. But testing it to see how far I can get. The question is, do I want to really stretch it to the limit, or if I stretch it to the limit, I know exactly what this boat can and can't do. The downside is diesels are a bitch to get started if you run them out of fuel. So I'm thinking I might route the 25-hour mark just to go ahead and top off and call it a day. satisfied knowing that, hey, 25 hours, you need to fill up. I think that's probably a more prudent bet. So, but anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing here the last few days, and it's been slow going, but then again, I've had some things to contend with, like bridge tenders that don't answer the radio, barge captains that don't want to help you out, you know, stuff like that. And let me tell you, the barges here on the Gulf Coast Intercoastal, I mean, I thought they were bad in the Atlantic. They're 10 times worse here. Oh my God. And they know they own it too. There's no doubt about it. They own the waterway. Commerce, price of commerce. So, but I try to stay out of their way, and I try to get way over and give them enough seat room and whatnot, but even still, because the different configurations of barges they do these days, they don't just double and triple them up as far as length goes. They also double them up, the big wide ones, especially. I hate it when they do this, but they go side by side. They take up, I mean, this, you're seeing what the, here, let me show you the width of this. There to there. That's it. That's it. And when they double them up side by side, they take the whole thing up. You don't get, and for anybody that's not in the know, which probably quite a few people, but anyway, the Intercoastal Waterway, both the Atlantic and the Gulf, it's not just a down on the side and across and squared up banks. It's not like that. It goes down gradually and then kind of drops off into a V or a U shape and comes back up the same way on the other side. Technically. What happens though is when you get rain, runoff, this, that, whatever, all that silt, sand, rock, whatever, that debris fills up certain portions depending upon the shoreline and the topography and everything. So you'll have what you call shoaling, which that's just a buildup of dirt, mud, whatever over time that actually kind of edges its way out further and further into the channel. That's why they have to dredge from time to time to go ahead and cut that down. Otherwise, even the barges would have a hard time. So, but anyway, been a couple near groundings on my part just in the last couple of days, and that's just simply because I had nowhere else to go. It was, you know, I was over as far as, I was looking at my depth gauge and I was right at about 5.5, and then all of a sudden you hit a shoal and that's it. Fortunately for this thing, and I mean, one, it's a soft grounding, so it's just kind of, I just kind of plowed through it. And I got right back in the deep water again. Deeper, I should say, because like I said, the barges, they don't give you any room. Hence the term barge in. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Tune in tomorrow, or maybe the next day, maybe a couple days from now. I don't know, whenever I get the gumption, and we'll do this again real soon. Okay? Bye.